From the studios of the Department of Communication in Phillipsburg, welcome to Next Level Thinking. Here are your hosts, Team APAP, St. Martin.
Hello, and welcome to Next Level Thinking. Today we are going to talk a little bit about the psychology behind why do we celebrate. My name is Zulema Violinas. I'm a psychologist at the Milton Peters College and the Sundial School, and I'm joined today by
Stephanie Hassett, a psychologist working at Mental Health Foundation.
And Carmencita Chimont, I have my own practice.
So we're going to get right into it. We're going to start a conversation off talking about why do we celebrate. So ladies, chime in.
Well, I celebrated today because I had an errand to run, and I got through with it. It was at a tax office, and I got through with it pretty quickly. So I was pretty happy.
And how did you celebrate?
Music loud in my car.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
I celebrated today because my tomcat came back. He was away for a few days, and I thought he's not going to come back. So he came back today, and I celebrated with giving him a can of tuna.
Oh, nice.
Good for the cat. Today, let me see. Let me think. Did I celebrate anything? Today was a very hectic day, but I would say that one of my favorite celebrations are usually the birthdays of my children.
Okay.
We usually celebrate in different ways. So we can backtrack a little bit and talk about what exactly is celebration. And celebration is just basically when we mark the things that are important to us by doing things that we enjoy. So again, it's what is important to us, and we commemorate the day, we mark it, we remember it, we pay special attention to it by what is important. And what I found very interesting about what we talked about just now about the celebration, it doesn't have to be big things.
Exactly. It doesn't have to be the big milestones that we think of, the big significant milestones such as graduations, birthdays, anniversaries, national holidays. Sometimes it's the little things in life.
Like your tomcat coming back, or definitely going to a government office and getting through quickly. That is celebration worthy.
Oh,
for
definitely. Because that doesn't happen that often. But it's great when it happens. And it does. It happens at times. And I celebrate it.
Yeah. Because indeed, whether it's a big or a small thing, it feels good to take a moment and notice the good things in your life. It's kind of like a reminder of your skills, your talents, and your strengths. So we can get into a little bit about why actually it's important to celebrate.
Well, as you said, Sulaima, I guess it is a reminder, right, of our skills and what we're good at. It's a reminder of, hey, I made another year. Or like a graduation, hey, it took me so long, I did all this hard work, and I finally reached the finish line. I guess that just gives a feeling of, it boosts my self-confidence. It gives a feeling of, hey, I accomplished something, progress.
Yeah, the positive things that form your identity, sometimes celebrating your birthday or something that you did well, it adds to me. It makes me feel good. It makes me feel confident. It gives me, I could tell somebody, yes, I'm a good basketball player.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, so it adds to my identity.
And a little psychology behind that is, the fact that science shows that we as human beings, we tend to actually pay more attention to the negative things in life. Not all of us, but you kind of have the tendency to, at the end of the day, when you come home, you're remembering all of the things that did not go well.
Oh, yeah.
Usually because you're trying to fix them. Wherever you might be, sometimes we tend to focus more on the negative. And what celebration does, and celebrating the small things like Stephanie was talking about, it makes us pay more attention to the positive things in our lives, which in turn is better for our mental health, right?
Oh, definitely. It puts a highlight on that positive instead of focusing on that negative. And we call it negative, but I mean, going through your day, nothing just falls in your lap. You always have to go through a process to get somewhere. And whether it's just getting into my car and drive through traffic to the grocery store, you can all pinpoint those things as negative. There was traffic, it was busy on the road, and I didn't get through quickly. And
didn't get a parking space.
So then we see that all as negatives, which are just part of our journey. Exactly, facts of life. So just pinpointing and highlighting that positive can really lift your spirit for that day.
Yeah, and it gives you a chance to, relax and to feel good about yourself, feel good about your day. And you don't end your day frustrated and worrying and thinking what's going to happen next.
Exactly. Feeling that you crossed that finish line. For me, that is it. The feeling that, hey, I made a step.
Yeah, and acknowledging that is very important as well, because that is another very important thing about celebration. What it does is it also motivates you. Like Stephanie just indicated, it is a journey to, your life's journey, and you have those goals. When you celebrate finding a parking space or just graduating or getting one more thing done off of your to-do list, that also does for you mentally, it motivates you. You take a time to look at the positive, and because you're like, oh, I'm one step closer. Oh, I got this done. I'm this far. It gives you that mental fortitude, you can call it, or that boost is another word you can use. To keep on going.
Oh, yeah. It makes me want to keep on going. I'm like, okay, I can do this. I can do the next task I have on my list, or I can tackle the next day.
And celebration also, in general, it also helps us to savor the good things. So you were talking about when your tomcat came back, you celebrated by giving him some food.
Yeah.
That is also a very important aspect of our celebrations. Definitely in the Caribbean, food plays a very important part in that. So that is one of the things of savoring the good stuff about life. Yes. I think as Caribbean people, we are very good at savoring our food. Right? Am I right, ladies?
Oh, yes.
Yes. We love to eat.
Exactly. Yeah. But you don't realize that actually doing that actually buffers you against bad stuff, and you are actually building resilience. So even when we come together with friends because we have accomplished something that is even so small, just sitting down, savoring that food, paying attention to how delicious it is, and all of those things, it actually helps us to buffer against the things to come, because it helps us to fall back on those good times. So that's one of the other important reasons why celebrating the good things are so important. So we've talked a little bit about what celebration means to us, what is the definition of celebrating, and the importance of celebrating. And when we come back, we're going to get really more down into why celebrating is important for your mental well-being.
Next Level Thinking.
November 12th to the 18th is World Antibiotic Awareness Week, which aims to increase global awareness of antibiotic resistance and to encourage best practices among the public, health workers, and policymakers to avoid the further emergence and spread of antibiotic resistance. Misuse of antibiotics puts us all at risk. Think twice. Think twice. Seek advice. Seek advice. Seek advice. This message was brought to you by Collective Prevention Services, a department at the Ministry of Public Health. It's important to know more, now than ever, what employment opportunities are available. Get a head start on the competition at jobopportunity.sx by ensuring that your experience, achievements, and professional aspirations are viewed by the island's employers. Create your profile, display your skills, and be informed on what jobs are available with just-in-time updates at the tip of your fingers. For more info, call 520-5279 and register now at jobopportunity.sx. It's hard to make big changes in life. The energy, time, and commitment are often too great. That's why many men in our community struggle with their health. The Department of Collective Prevention Services is encouraging all men in our community to take the positive step and get checked. Schedule your annual medical screening, practice a healthy lifestyle by eating healthy, exercise regularly, and practice safe sex consistently. This message is brought to you by Collective Prevention Services, a department of the Ministry of Health.
I was deceived about the nature of my job. I was abducted and sold. All my documents were confiscated and money was withheld from me. I was isolated and confined to one area. I was forced into prostitution. I was forced to lie to authorities and my family. Now that you know, what will you do?
You can help by calling the National Reporting Bureau on Human Trafficking at 542-1553 or send email to naticotip@gmail.com. Human trafficking and exploitation. Please report it.
You are listening to Next Level Thinking on St. Martin Gov Radio 107.9.
Before the break, we were talking about celebrating. That is our theme for today, why we celebrate and how it benefits us mentally to celebrate. And we focused a lot about how it affects our positive mood and the reasons why celebrating affects our mood positively. So, Carmencita, can you tell us a little bit more about celebrating of national events like St. Martin Day?
Yes, celebrating national events. St. Martin Day it boosts our cultural identity. And so we do things that are specific for St. Martiners on the Dutch side and on the French side, but it's a binding thing. It's a social thing. And that's also important in celebration because we out there and we meeting people, we seeing people, we doing things together. And then something like Carnival is also a cultural identity thing. We dance and our type of dancing and we sing and it's important also on those days that, especially on Carnival, that you could get rid of certain stress. Yeah, you're not thinking about things. You letting yourself go. And at the same time, you feel a kind of a bonding with the people around you. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And that accentuates and that gives extra in thing on our cultural identity that we are all different. And especially in St. Martin, where we exist of so many different cultures. But on those days, we seem to come together and everybody express themselves and enjoy.
Talk to us a little bit, Stephanie, about how the importance of cultural identity, national identity for your mental well-being.
So, as human beings, we want to belong to a group. We want to feel that we belong. We want to feel heard. We want to feel protected. We want to feel safe. So you want to be part of something, part of a group that protects you, that is there for you, that you share certain values and norms with, that you feel you belong to. So cultural identity, just having that culture, sharing that culture together, knowing that you have the same values in a way and coming together and that in that day really strengthens that feeling of self, knowing who you are, knowing where you're from. Just that core, knowing your roots, as we say, is so important. And it can give you such a feeling of, hey, I'm home. I'm home. And I think we all look for that feeling. And when we celebrate days that really highlight that cultural identity, that show us, others, and the world who we are, it gives us a sense of pride. We're like, yeah, this is my group. I belong to them. These are my roots.
Yeah, I think that perfectly indicates why it's so important to celebrate. Why governments all over the world think it's very important to celebrate national holidays, because knowing who you are, where you come from, your roots, like Stephanie said, it fosters your well-being. It gives you a sense of belonging, and it also gives the sense of knowing who you are, helps you to navigate this world in a more positive way.
To add to that, Zulema, I mean, if we take the mental health in it, right? Depression is a big thing. Mm-hmm. And it often stems from loneliness, feeling lonely, feeling that there's no one else there, feeling that you're alone in this world. So that feeling of cultural identity, feeling of belonging is also just a good way to not fall into depression, or a good, help against depression as well.
And having these national holidays, people could look forward to, so they are fixed days, yeah?
Mm-hmm. Correct,
So they could look forward to, we're going to celebrate Carnival this year, we're going to do this and this on St. Martin Day. And so that gives them also a motivation to, be positive and to look forward to something nice
what Stephanie was just saying about the importance of depression and the importance of coming together also is the reason why, for instance, it's important to celebrate not only things like St. Martin's Day, but your birthday.
Oh, definitely.
Some people just let the day go by, and some people make it a really big deal. I think that the important thing for people to realize with these things, and some people just don't do it at all, but celebrating is really personal, right? It's what you, like, if you go back to the definition of what celebration is you mark the day that is important to you in the way you enjoy the most.
Exactly.
So for some people, the perfect birthday celebration is maybe laying on the beach all by themselves all day because they enjoy that so much. And for someone else, it's really making a big fanfare out of their birthday, right? I've heard of people, it's very common, like on my Facebook list, I have a lot of people who have a birthday month.
Oh, yeah.
I love the concept, right? They celebrate for a whole month, and every weekend they are celebrating life, the fact that they are still here.
That's amazing, but I don't know how they do it.
I don't know either. I would be very tired. But I know, really, and they like chronicle it. But I think I don't do it, but I think it's an amazing concept because they're really focusing on the fact that they're still here, they're still alive, they have friends and that are sharing their lives with them. So it's a great way to do that, to ward off those type of things like depression, etc. But I just wanted to highlight though that, so even if you're not the birthday month type person, celebrating on the beach all by yourself, that's still great. Yeah. Because it's what the thing that is most important for you, but celebrate. It doesn't matter how you do it, as you make it as personal as possible. But like Stephanie says, you need to celebrate those things because it does boost your mental well-being.
Yeah. And just stopping and realizing, hey, this is my moment. This is something I've accomplished. This is a part of my journey I have behind me, and there is still more to come. Doing that is just good for your spirit.
Yeah, and we were talking a little bit about carnival, but you also have like spiritual and religious celebrations.
Definitely, yeah. Like Christmas, for example, Easter, things that we also have certain rituals, certain things that we always do, which also is very good. It triggers certain memories and the feeling of, remember how we used to do this, and family coming together, friends coming together, that routine, that structure.
And just like national and cultural identity is important and it boosts your well-being, so are spiritual and religious identities. Those are also things that can boost your mental well-being and should also be celebrated. When we come back, we're going to speak a little bit more about the reasons we celebrate, but we're going to talk more specifically on some celebrations that are very important to us here on St. Martin.
Next level thinking.
Hey, prevention is the cure. Hey, help us, we help you. Stop disease from spreading because of mosquito. I got a message for you. Say what? Please listen carefully. Listen. You can do your part to stop mosquitoes from biting me. Get rid of all containers. Get rid of them with water in them. Hey. Don't give mosquitoes no chance to lay eggs in them. Cause we don't want no disease. We don't want dengue. We don't want punya. We don't want Zika. Is the cure. What? Help us, we help you. Stop disease from spreading. Stop it because of mosquitoes. This is Viking Voss. This message was brought to you by the Collective Prevention Services. Remember, do your part and stop disease from spreading because of mosquito.
I was deceived about the nature of my job. I was abducted and sold. All my documents were confiscated and money was withheld from me. I was isolated and confined to one area. I was forced into prostitution. I was forced to lie to authorities and my family. Now that you know, what will you do?
You can help by calling the National Reporting Bureau on Human Trafficking at 542-1553 or send email to naticotip@gmail.com. Human trafficking and exploitation. Please report it. November 12th to the 18th is World Antibiotic Awareness Week, which aims to increase global awareness of antibiotic resistance and to encourage best practices among the public, health workers, and policymakers to avoid the further emergence and spread of antibiotic resistance. Misuse of antibiotics puts us all at risk. Think twice. Think twice. Seek advice. Seek advice. Seek advice. This message was brought to you by Collective Prevention Services, a department at the Ministry of Public Health.
You are listening to Next Level Thinking on St. Martin Gov Radio 107.9.
So before the break, we spoke about why celebrating is so important for our mental well-being. And we're going to continue discussing that a little bit. Stephanie, you had one point that you wanted to add?
Oh, yeah, definitely. Like when we celebrate, we often laugh. And laughter reduces certain stress hormones in our body. Laughing just feels good, first of all. But it releases certain hormones that make us feel even better. And in doing this, laughter provides a safety valve that shuts off the flow of stress hormones and the fight or flight response, right? So the fight and flight is when we're stressed out. We feel like, okay, I have to move now. I either run away really fast because this is just too overwhelming and it's getting too much. Or, I'm going to fight and stand my ground and make a big scene in this stressful situation. But laughing, because we're celebrating, it sheds off all of that stress and helps us swing our bodies into action when we experience stress, anger, or hostility in a positive way.
And I think that also explains why some people in stressful situations sometimes laugh. Right? You're laughing that stress away.
Exactly.
Trying to calm yourself down is almost automatic sometimes, or in certain situations or for certain people.
I am one of those people that really stressful situations, which are not life-threatening, but stressful, makes me giggle. Yeah, it makes me, laugh. And it feels good, it kind of breaks the tension, and eventually I'm like, I think it's not that serious. Yeah.
And people do that too when they're nervous, when they're under stress. People giggle.
Yeah,
And you have those people that also they tend to, in stressful situations, make light of the situation or also make it funny. So they actively seek to find the humor in a stressful situation. Again, not life threatening or like But for instance, after a natural disaster, people come together and they find ways. They're not necessarily maybe celebrating, but they find ways to laugh, jokes. It all helps to reduce the stress.
Yeah, and it is in a way celebrating. As you said, after something really bad happened, you're celebrating the moment of, hey, we're still here.
We're still here.
We came through it, and then it's not making light of the situation. We know it's serious. We know that we've passed through something here. But it's, hey, we have to keep on going. We have to enable to keep on going. Stress is something that holds us back. So laughing it off, literally laughing it off and enabling our bodies and minds to continue. In that way, celebration, and that's, I think, kind of why we always do it at an ending, right? Where we feel like, okay, this process has finished and we have to take a new step and we have to take a new direction now. So we're kind of commemorating an end and celebrating that, okay, there's a new start now. We're moving ahead.
I heard this conversation in the community right after the storm. Certain people were wondering, should we still have had a carnival? I think what you just referred to, Stephanie, about the fact that it's after a natural disaster is good to still celebrate being alive, being here, finding the laughter in the situation in order to reduce your stress. That speaks to the fact of the reason why certain persons thought, we need carnival after Hurricane Irma.
Definitely, because as I said before, you throw everything, especially in carnival, there's a kind of inhibition that you could just be somebody else, and you could do crazy things because you're letting it all out. And it's also the creative aspect of carnival. the colors, the way you dance, the group that you're in.
The music that is made
yes,
during that time.
Yes.
Yeah. So those are all outlets for stress is what I hear you saying.
Yeah.
And that is why it's also important to celebrate those things. Right?
Oh, definitely. I mean, I understand why people were confused, kind of like, should we celebrate? Should we?
Is there money?
Is there money? Big question.
Wise?
Exactly. Shouldn't we use this money for something better? I understand that viewpoint 100%, but I also acknowledge the fact that we need to celebrate. We need to hold on to that cultural identity, strengthen ourselves as a community, as a group of people coming together and needing each other to rebuild. So I understand that side of celebrating Carnival as well.
And that stress valve, like that Carmencita was indicating, it was so important for certain people to not think about certain things just for a while. And Carnival, what better time to really have this, the partying, the sense of community, the creativity, the building of the costumes, the calypso, the soca, all of that gives you an outlet for all that stress that you had. Definitely the artists amongst us. And just enjoying that as well, partaking in that, it was an opportunity for us to let go of some of the stresses. And you need that. You need to reboot in order for you to be able to continue.
And it's also a physical release of stress, Carnival, because you're moving and you think, and that's all, because a lot of stress goes into our muscles and we become rigid and you know.
And just to add really quickly, we can of course choose the level of commitment and participation in Carnival. We don't have to go all out. We can just join and enjoy the little things of Carnival as well.
Yeah, definitely. But that's a great point about something that is also very important for us here on St. Martin, for those of us who do celebrate that, Christmas. Going all out. What I heard you saying, Stephanie, especially after a natural disaster like we experienced after Irma and the economic situation that we find ourselves in, that deciding for yourself how much you're going to do, what I heard you mentioning, Stephanie, is so important with the next celebration that is coming up for us, Christmas.
Christmas is coming.
A lot of people, for Christmas, you know, it's stressful because of all the things they want to do. But if, as Stephanie say, you know, you could do it in a different way.
Exactly. I guess that brings it back to celebrating small or big. Celebrations don't have to be big. They can be small, just to mark something significant, important to us.
Yeah.
And I also think that you should celebrate responsible. Yes. So don't overdo it with alcohol or drugs or excessive behavior. You know, it should be pleasurable.
And with the upcoming Christmas, one of the definitely the advices are, depending on your situation, it's okay to spend moderately. So spend less than you used to spend before. It's still a celebration. The whole point about it is doing something that you enjoy. Again, what is celebrating? You enjoy it. Something you enjoy. You could enjoy buying gifts for people, but we also, like we said, enjoy the food. So maybe you focus on that.
On the company.
On the company, right? On that connection that you said we're social beings, indeed. So you can focus on that. You decide how you celebrate. There is no mandated way to celebrate, and you can tailor that to your situation and your lifestyle. When we come back, we're going to talk more about how we celebrate and how to celebrate responsibly.
Next Level Thinking.